So we're in the taxi and my friend says, I forgot my keys. Let me just jump out and get them. And his friend comes along, gets in the taxi. And I turned around and it's Fan Zhendong.
That's so nuts.
And I'm there like, yeah, I was lost for words.
Is it just me, boys, or was this the best Olympics ever?
Unbelievable. Men's singles, women's singles, and the mixed doubles all done. Now we're on to teams. But yeah, so far it has delivered on every single level.
Yeah, 100%. I put a post out yesterday actually on social media saying, like, I think it's exactly what you said, the most enjoyable Olympics has been in a long time.
You know, table tennis, it's hard to watch when results are predictable, when you kind of know, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. But there was upsets everywhere.
Any sport, though, if you think of like football, you know, when a Man City's dominating, or an F1, right, that Lewis Hamilton's been dominating, then it's Max Verstappen. Any sport where it's predictable, boring. We don't want to see that.
It's dull, yeah.
I think also as well, shout out to the crowd, because every single day, no matter if it was Alexei and Felix or anyone else, that crowd was kicking. It was like a McGregor fight at times.
It was epic.
So good. They're responding to everything, like massive shots. They're all up, screaming about. And then obviously it helps that you had like celebs in there, like Zinedine Zidane's in there. Is it Anthony Edwards as well from the NBA was there watching Lily Zhang?
Crazy. I think it helps that it's not just a table tennis crowd as well. It's obviously there's people at the Olympics who don't necessarily know about table tennis. They maybe watch other sports and they've come in. So they're not necessarily aware of like the etiquette of table tennis, if you like. So they're going crazy. But all the players, as far as I've seen, that have posted or spoken about it, said it's amazing. We need this more in table tennis, like the more energetic atmosphere rather than like a quiet library when it's all dull and,
absolutely,
you know, like cucumber sandwiches. Like we want energy, we want passion.
I was going to say, yeah, so a few of the pros that we've seen in like on Instagram have said exactly the same. It's like, did you not find it distracting? They're like, no, this is what we want. This is what we want at every tournament.
That's why sometimes you need a big event like the Olympics to get into the mainstream media and then people start following the sport, right? You need that big event. That's why the Olympics is so important. And I think having Truls reach the final, Felix get a bronze, all these upsets and like, well, you know, you could argue, actually, Truls is the first player, stats man coming in here. Truls is the first non-Chinese player to reach the final of the Olympics since 2004.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Isn't it? So that means every single final since 2004 has been a Chinese player. So it's very predictable. You know, okay, it's going to be Wang Hao Marlin, or it's going to be Ma Long, Zhanjika, etc., Fan Zhendong. But having Truls in the final just shaked it up.
First question then. What is more prestigious to win? Olympics gold in table tennis or World Championships?
Olympics, isn't it?
I would say Olympics gold.
There's so much on the Olympics, man. Olympics there's something about Olympics. It's like it's like a tournament for the universe. It's not even for planet Earth. Well, it's so prestigious.
It is more, it has more prestige, I think, because it's a multi-sport event as well. Yeah. So it's like that's the pinnacle of pretty much every sport, and they're all coming together in this one huge event. Whereas World Champs, it's massive. Obviously, everyone wants to win it, but that's just for table tennis. Whereas this feels like it's more, like an
everyone
overall,
coming together.
Yeah, an overall sporting event, like say multi-sport.
Also, with the World Championships might actually be harder because you've got 5 players from China, 5 players from Germany, etc., playing in the singles, whereas at Olympics you've only got 2. But then you could argue the pressure of the Olympics. Yeah. You could see the pressure of the players were going under. It must be tough out there.
Sure.
And you've got all the multi-sports as well, so you know that other, imagine having Zidane in the crowd watching you play. Well, Felix has got Zidane up there.
It's crazy.
When will we ever see a World Championships where like every day is sold out?
Yeah.
What I've been loving is like all the random sponsorships as well that you see. Like Dmitry Ovtcharov is in a Coca-Cola advert with Gwen Stefani.
It's brilliant.
How did that happen? Was his agent like, Dima, you like Coca-Cola, right? Yeah, it's all right. Like, do you want to be in an advert? Yeah, why not?
This sounds great.
Do you know what's funny though? I'm pretty sure Dima doesn't drink Coke. I'm pretty sure he's not going around drinking Coca-Cola.
He's got like a body of an Adonis. Yeah. There's no way any Coca-Cola's touching that body.
He's way too pro for that.
I think Wang Chuqin kind of getting knocked out by Truls early on shook the tournament and then got eyeballs on the event, you know. If Wang Chuqin had won that, you could argue it would have been Fan Zhendong Wang Chuqin final. And I know we keep name dropping, but in the Jan-Ove Walner masterclass, he actually did something very, very clever. We picked his brains about, hey, how did you stay so calm in the Olympics when you won gold? Because there's so much pressure, blah, 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 blah. He said, what I do from a table tennis point of view is, 1, I'm jumping on my toes all the time, trying to get into the zone. And 2, in the first couple of sets, I'll just do some crazy, weird shots. Because by doing that, it relaxes my body. I was like, geez, that makes so much sense.
Okay, so I get why Walner does that, but I think that's very like personal Because you wouldn't see Ovtcharov doing that. Ovtcharov
maybe
needs
it
to
would
be in
relax
that.
him.
Yeah, maybe, but Ovtcharov, everyone's individual. So to get that peak performance for Walner, that was the thing to do. Be relaxed, be loosey goosey, have that feeling. Come up to the table eating a sandwich, like very chilled.
Yeah.
But for Ovtcharov, he needs to be in that like zone where he's just so focused. He's in like nothing else is going on but the table.
I feel like you can't really study that too hard because he's
one-off.
like our version of Maradona, right? Which is like
Yeah,
you watch
he
him
really
warm up,
is.
he's just chilling. And you're like, how can you do this with a smile on your face, not even look like you're half asleep,
Yeah.
and you're just like blocking Timo Boll off and sending him the other way, and then walking off and getting your towel whilst the point's still going.
Bit of an anomaly, yeah, agreed. Yeah.
It is ridiculous what Walner was doing.
Even that clip that you posted when he
in the review.
round the net, when
Yeah.
he like moves like he's like a 20-year-old.
You know what's really crazy about that? Like behind off camera, it's a shame I didn't have the camera there, but he was going nuts to like he was with Speedy from Donick and someone else, his old coach. And he was like, "How did I do this? This is ridiculous. For my age, this is the best shot ever." Like he was going so crazy. I'm like, "Oh, I need the camera." I was trying to run over, get the camera. He was just going nuts. He was like, maybe this is the best shot I've ever hit in my life. Like I covered so much ground in one, like, and he was like, and I had to replay back on my phone. Yeah, I had it replaying back on the camera. And he's like, look, in one step, I get from that side of the table to the other in like half a second. How is this possible? And I'm like, yeah, but you are Walner. Like,
Crazy. No, it was crazy.
It's so good to know that he's still got the love of like the little things. Like he hits around the net and he goes as wild as we do.
Maybe that is what makes table tennis such a great sport, though, isn't it? Is hitting those ridiculous shots, or even just doing a forehand counter down the line in a big moment. You feel like a hero.
Oh, what about the one Truls did in the final to Fan Zhendong where he did like the up and under scoop? And Fan Zhendong was like, he was fishing and the fish got away.
But go on.
He to build up to that point, like he does that forehand touch short that you said. Fan Zhendong retouches and Truls comes in and like butchers this side spin, like pop almost short to the middle, and then just
It's nuts.
snakes it. It's mad. The best thing about that point as well is like the moment after it, the crowd go insane. They stood up, and then also Fan Zhendong's cheeky grin.
Beautiful.
Of like, you got me, and Truls just acknowledges it and smiles. Like,
It's easy to do that when you're like 9-3 up though as well. Like, imagine if that was close, like a
match point.
Yeah, it could have been. You know that cheeky grin from Fan Zhendong was in that twice, and that's against Gals. He's around the net as well. When Fan Zhendong did that roller.
Yeah.
Here it
Obviously,
is.
the first place to start, Truls and Wang Chuqin. Probably the little bit of context, not that anyone won't know, but preceding this match was the mixed doubles final, where Wang Chuqin and Sun Yin-cha won it. In the celebrations, there's a bit of controversy about a conspiracy theory. Was it meant? Was it not? But a photographer has either stood or kneeled on Wang Chuqin's bat and snapped it in half. He's obviously had a massive reaction to it, that the coach is trying to calm him down multiple times. And then something that you shared was even after all that, Wang Chuqin goes around and he's doing his post-media interview, and a photographer is photoing Truls and just walks straight into it. And she just walks off. She doesn't even say, like, if I did that in Tesco's, I'd be like, I'm so sorry, you okay? Like, have I bumped you anywhere? She's literally like, huh? And just walks off. You're like, that's the world number one.
Yeah, well, Wang Chuqin was like, you could see he was very annoyed as well. He was just like,
But if anyone, like you said, any situation, you're
don't
buying your
matter who it is.
groceries in Tesco's, and you say sorry.
So there was obviously lots of discussion. I mean, let's go into kind of the conspiracy theory side of it. Some of the stuff that's coming out of China, right?
In China right now, there's millions of people all like in this crazy like online forums just being like, this is ridiculous. This was done on purpose. And it's like people analyzing video footage from every angle where the photographer's walking along and then, kneeling down. And people are saying he's not pressing the trigger on the camera, and he's there as a plant to break the bat and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying this is
no, I know,
legit,
I get it.
right?
It's a lot of the stuff that's been put out online.
Yeah, it's just okay. The reason for it is in China right now. Wang Chuqin has 19 million followers. He's one of the biggest athletes in China. He's like Ronaldo in the rest of the world. Like, he's a beast, has millions of hardcore fans, and they'll do anything to whatever. It's like anything. It's like we've watched football, Reading fans. You're so passionate.
It's like a cult. A cult following.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So like online in a minute, they're just trying to find something, right? You know what I mean? And but yeah, some of the footage out there is insane. Like how much analysis has gone into it.
I think, it is obviously, no one will ever really know probably if it was, intentional
it's an accident,
or not.
let's be honest.
99% is an accident. But regardless, if your back gets broken, in the Olympics, your first racket, obviously they've all got a second, third, fourth, whatever racket, but he's using that racket for a reason, right? And he's obviously most comfortable with that. That's the blade he likes. He's got, the rubbers are fresh, whatever. And then he's got to then go on in the singles and play Truls. That, for whatever player level that is, it's going to have an effect. Like, I'd be devastated. I'd be like, my bat's broken here.
He absolutely has a very valid but quite a big reaction to it. You can see he's quite upset, and he's going at him, and the coach is holding him back multiple times. Like, he's just won a gold medal. So you can, to understand that that's how he's reacting, it's obviously a big thing for him. And like you say, he's picked that bat for a reason. This one feels the best out of these 5. Yeah, I'm going to use this, and it's got me to goal.
And a lot of the time, even with the spare racket and stuff, like you'll know, Dan, like for example, like Timo, he'll have, I mean, Timo's maybe an extreme. He has probably like 6 rackets at a tournament.
There's that post online he does, where he has like 6 or 7 rackets.
But the reason for that is he'll try and pick a racket that feels good in that hole, because obviously all hole, as we know, like all holes feel different, some slower, faster, different feeling. So he'll have that racket that he selected to play good for that and how he feels comfortable in that hole, and that's what's probably happened to Wang Chuqin.
Yeah. They for sure have multiple rackets. I've seen Ma Long many times. It's weird because he just does it on a forehand drive. He doesn't even do a forehand topspin. He's got like 4 or 5 rackets in his bag. He walks over, grabs one, walks up, does a couple of forehand drives with Fan Zhendong. He's like, walks back, puts the bat back in his bag, grabs another one, walks up, does some more forehand drives. There's not even a topspin. And you're like, wow. And he's understanding his racket from that. And then, he, sometimes go back to his bag, grab it, come back, and then he'll just start slinging. And he's happy then. Yeah. So I guess everyone's different. But like you said, the reaction of Wang Chuqin shows that actually, no, he liked that racket. And that definitely will throw you, for sure. It will be annoying, whether it hindered his performance or not.
I would say 100% it did. Yeah. And that's not taking anything away from Truls. Truls still had to play world class, probably one of the best performances he's ever done to beat him, and that's just how good Wang Chuqin is. But for sure it had some sort of effect, I would say.
I think it added, it obviously added a bit of baggage, a bit of additional baggage to what Wang Chuqin was already carrying on his shoulders heading into that match.
Even just mentally. Like,
it's interesting you say the environment, because I spoke with the Danish player Martin Bucher Andersen after he's arrived and he's knocking up, and I said, like, how's the table feel? And he said it feels really, on backspin it just stops. So it's traveling through, the backspin hits and it just stops. So it is interesting, like you're exactly right. They'll tailor to the environment, to how it feels. It feels a bit different. I'm liking it off this. The short touch is better. Yeah.
Some halls are just naturally slower, depending on if the table's on top of like wood, or if it's straight to concrete, or how much girth floor. There's a lot to it.
Oh, the type of table and the ball as well. Like what ball it is, what table it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of variation to it. Like in table tennis, it doesn't really get looked at. So like taking tennis, for example, all the changes to the floor, and it's a huge thing. Oh, this player's better on grass, this player's better on clay or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? They actually know that. So in table tennis, there's much more bigger variations than that. You've got the ball difference, you've got the table different. All the tables, like the Stiga table to the butterfly table, and they're all just so different. Some hold the ball longer, like the butterfly tables hold longer, they have more grip, and it just like stops. Whereas the T-bar ones shoot through.
Well, another thing as well is aircon in that massive hall. You've got thousands of people in there. On day one, a lot of the guys were practicing throw-ups before they actually played the games.
Yeah, I've seen. I do. Even when I'm about to start the match, just chuck it out there.
Yeah, so that would tell me that maybe they're thinking about aircon might deviate.
Can I do a high toss or not? Maybe,
and probably that and the lights as well, because obviously the lighting has to be very bright. So
for
combination of the two.
Well, you're going there soon, aren't you? Me and Tom was there last week.
Yeah.
Man, like you said, it's epic there. You're gonna love it.
I cannot wait.
It's just insane.
It's great.
Let's get into Truls Wang Chuqin, the actual match then. So, well, before a ball is even hit, Truls Möregårdh, the evening before, in a Snapchat text with Alex Naomi and a few others, says, I think I can win tomorrow, boys. And they give him the best response, like, Ale, of course you can, mate. You're like, this is great. And I think, like, right from point 2 or 3, Truls just shoulders out, big chose. He loves an atmosphere, and you're like, this is on it. This is definitely on it. Yeah. First, I think it was like 12-10, like going to juice, big, like massive. Yeah, that was just stunning from Truls to see him rise to the occasion, bring up his level. We obviously knew that, like you said, kind of Wang Chuqin was carrying some baggage heading in, but you've still got to do the task, man. You've still got to climb Mount Everest and beat the man.
What I found amazing with Truls at times as well, the Chinese are so like industry standard perfect players, right? Forehand, back, and everything's perfect, always in perfect position. And Truls isn't always in perfect position. Sometimes he's got to chase it about a bit. So when he's playing Wang Chuqin, like Wang Chuqin's done a great shot, he's in perfect position, and Truls is off, but he still somehow gets the ball through. It's awkward, and it's tough for the players, whereas Wang Chuqin's used to playing Ma Long, Fan Zhendong, perfect technique, clean stuff. There's a lot of very strong players, all watching the Chinese and learning a good style of game, like a very traditional game. But to actually get to win the medals, you've got to be different. Yeah. And you kind of can see that with Truls.
100% agree.
Or Felix is different as well. It's
even Hugo's a bit different. Like, he just steps off a crazy amount of power. Like, it's a bit different to just rally play now.
And it is just tough. Wang Chuqin, he's making errors here and there, and you can see he's thinking about it. And you can see his brain's going, oh my God, am I going to lose this? Like,
I think a lot of it is like serve receive. Like, just because the ball is short on your backhand, you don't need to Chiquita it. And I think the Chiquita changed the game so much that everyone wanted to do it at every point. Harimoto coming in, Ling Yingju does it, obviously Wang Chuqin and Fan Zhendong. Actually, that's something that Truls doesn't do that much.
No,
that
never.
Does
you
basically the rhythm, right?
You never see him do that, really, do you? Come in with the backhand flick, Truls.
True. No, you don't. Yeah, he actually does a lot of forehand receive, really tight over the table, and like with a bit of side spin as well. And he can vary that side spin, top spin, or side spin, back spin. So sometimes they touch it and it pops up, even though he's going short.
Well, you were saying that just on Truls when you were practicing with him, that he was doing the chop blocks, but he was able to put backspin and then the next one, same technique, but top spin
with top spin, and it's laced. Yeah, let's put a little overlay on. It just, you push it this way, it flies up, and you get it wrong, it just goes straight down.
I guess part of the danger of that as well is even if you read it, you're like, that's got a bit of top on it, or that's got a bit of back. You're popping it, and you know he's already stood there with the back, with the forehand ready to crack that thing.
Absolutely. This is the thing as well. Sometimes it doesn't even need to be loads of spin, but if the deception is there, it can be the most minuscule spin, but it's enough because you're just slightly doubting it wrong,
Yeah.
And sometimes with Truls, you can see it's like, sometimes he's not even doing it like with crazy effort. It's just a little bit, it's a little nudge, and it's enough to like just throw the rhythm.
He also does that crazy one where he goes left to right on it.
And this way. It's like because he's not caught. He's like, he goes into his body. He's not moved. He's just like, you know what I mean?
It's almost like as Simon Gauzy's done like a similar sort of shot in the past, like to that, right? Almost like a chop block.
And that's what you kind of need, I think, to beat the Chinese. As soon as they're relaxed and they're in that position,
they can go on autopilot.
Yeah, it's just cannon fodder. Poof, poof, poof. It's like Pocket Rocket playing Gaffer in the knockout. It's just they're just fired up. You know what I mean?
What was super impressive about Truls as well is because at, I think it was 3-2 and like 6-all, Wang Chuqin throws in two of the most illegal serves you've ever seen. He changes the style. It's not pendulum, it's kickers.
Right.
And this thing is filth. And he does two of them, and you can see immediately he's watching Truls. And Truls has the reaction because he looks at the umpires. Truls hilariously gets a booking, gets a yellow card because he's obviously walked off and said, how have you not called them? But that was absolutely mental warfare from Wang Chuqin to say, can this kid handle it under the lights? We're going to give him a bit of controversy. And Truls handled it exceptionally.
Wang Chuqin threw in the needle, basically. He's threw in the needle.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's not forget as well, like, it's easy to forget because he feels like he's been around a long time. Truls is only 22.
Yeah,
so it's, I mean, I know Felix is 17, but to do that at 22 and like in that maturity, the way he played through the event, the way he handled himself, like, it's incredible. Like, he's 22 years of age.
Well, he's also handling some baggage, right? He's the new Walner.
Yeah, well, yeah, you've got that. There's been obviously comparisons in the past, like with him and Walner, the way can he get to that level? He's got that kind of unique style, like similar to what Walner had, something a bit different. So especially, it's tough.
Especially on that World Championship run in Houston, wasn't it? Where he went on a tear.
Again, he's turned up for a big event.
Yeah, it's insane. He's got to the final of the Worlds and the Olympics.
He gets better under the bright lights, under the biggest pressure. Truls rises. It's so good to see.
Obviously, we didn't go through like the Walner era way back in the day, like we are now with Truls and everyone. But if you talk to a lot of the older guys who love that generation, I mean Walner generation, etc., they all say that like Walner, he actually would lose a lot of events in the ITF tournaments and stuff. But then he would go to the Europeans or the World or the Olympics and just be ridiculous.
That's a sign of doing it when it matters.
Yeah, a big game player. Like he would lose to, I don't know, whoever it was, a quarterfinal of like, I don't know, Japan Open.
Well, to be fair, that's probably been the case with Truls this
year.
That's what I'm saying.
It's very similar.
I'm not saying he's had a bad year, but it's not been like he's winning all the WTTs and like smashing everyone. And
it's
like,
tough.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah. Only problem is both times in the Worlds and Olympics he's had Fan Zhendong in his way. Yeah. It's just a monster.
Yeah, that's where if Harimoto would have took out Fan Zhendong.
And it wasn't far off.
Just coming back to Wang Chuqin, because I thought he was exceptional after the match, actually, because straight away you can see him in English say, well played, well played.
He said good match.
A lot of respect there, wasn't there?
It was
fair play to him.
And then, obviously, first question he got asked, translated, but the first thing he got asked was like, how much the bat? And he said like it had no bearing whatsoever. He just played better than me on the day. Like fair play.
Yeah, what a guy.
To hand that over to Truls.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really good.
Wang Chuqin, he's going to get his Olympic title one day.
Yeah, you would have thought so, right?
It's
yeah,
every 4
it's
years.
LA,
but
isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
2028.
Because
Yeah, it's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee, but
Felix is going to be 4 years
yeah,
older.
true. Yeah, and Truls.
Truls is only going to be 26.
Yeah, it's actually getting tough now. That's what's great about this table tennis game is the top guys now. It's all very...
What would be cool is going through now, who's in that under 14s category, who's the next Felix for 4 years' time, who's going to be 17 at that time. You're like, that kid's going to be a star.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Like, because you know, again, back in the day, it took someone in the 27 peak to be at the top. There was all this whole thing about the peak of the sport is 27. Even in football and stuff, it's changing now because of strength and conditioning and the knowledge of coaches and everything else that's been put in nutrition and stuff. You're getting much better athletes at a much younger age.
And I would say, particularly in table tennis, where the game has changed so much, where you're having the older players, and I say older, I mean like mid-20s and older, they're playing a game that they've played before in the past and they're having to adapt it. And now the younger players, they're starting off fresh in this new style.
They don't know any different.
They
They're
don't
like
know any
next gen,
different.
yeah.
Marcus Freitas has gone through speed glue changing to ball change, and now, you know, obviously the game change as well, the style and everything. And Felix obviously hasn't had to go through that. He's just started right off the bat.
All those guys, Felix has it, Truls has it. The change from backhand to forehand is so at
Just
the
so
table.
quick. I mean,
Tight.
number one is Fan Zhendong, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Fan Zhendong does have a bit of a step off the table and has a bit more of like
a swing to it.
Yeah, there's more of a
Like
swing.
Hugo's,
Yeah, like Hugo's. Whereas Felix and those
Oh,
ones
Hugo's is like he's
tight.
playing golf. His swing on his backhand is like he's
So
sending
good.
that driver 350 yards down the range.
It's interesting the comparison to a driver because the sound when he hits it off a backspin ball to smash.
Wow, it's insane.
His consistency at being at that distance is what I find really impressive. Because usually when players drop off, your consistency rate dips. And then it's like, well, if you get him off the table, he's going to go for a few big ones and miss. But no, that's the opposite of Hugo.
I'd say he's almost better off the table.
No, he is, yeah. He'll do a
Crazy.
double-handed one down the line against Harimoto when he's in that position. It's nuts.
That was crazy.
Must be great for Hugo. He's like, do you know what? I'm going to dig long here, get into a nice open rally, and just beat this guy on top to
You
top.
basically serve and run to the barrier.
Yeah. What's funny?
He's like a baseline player in tennis.
Yeah.
But that's what Pocket Rocket says his tactic is, right? Just get long and get into a big rally.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, you know, he's just not winning those rallies all the time from back there.
That's the key.
And, whereas Hugo is, and it's like his comfort zone. And we watched him live. We watched him against Zhang Ruijin, and it's like, how is he doing that?
Yeah,
It's phenomenal. Well, often he push long, Zhang Ruijin will open up and he would just counter. And that's hard because it's like, ball, you don't know how much spins on it. It goes long, goes short, and it's the style.
Hugo then had Alexei in the round of 16. And Alexei went storming off. Looked like Hugo was probably struggling against the crowd and everything. And then all of a sudden, it clicked for Hugo. And he just started bombing everything. Yeah, that was really, really impressive.
Yeah, again, Alexei is another one that could have potentially gone further as well. He could have beaten Hugo on his day. There's so many strong players now in these draws.
I actually called both the next round of 16 games wrong that we're going to discuss now. So I actually said, I think Alexei will beat Hugo. I was totally wrong. He lost 4-1. And then, the other one was obviously Felix beating Dima.
I think if Felix hadn't got that 3-0 lead, it might have...
Even that 3-0 lead, I mean, I was just looking at the scores. 11-9, 15-13, 12-10. That is as close as it gets.
You're so close to Dimitri being either 2-1 or even 3-0 there. And it's obviously it's a different game. Felix feels the pressure. The crowd then becomes more of a pressure rather than a adrenaline boost. But yeah, that was an incredible game, to be honest.
Swung back and forth.
Yeah, Felix is 17, right? I'm not sure what Dimitri is. I think Dimitri's 33 or 34. Is he that
It's going to be around that ballpark,
so he's almost double the age of Felix.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
And been there, done that. He's already,
Well, the
bronze
experience.
bronze in Tokyo, isn't it?
That's massive, yeah. I feel like, that was a very 50-50 game, and it was impressive that Dimitri was able to, what's the word? I think he was 3-0 down. After that, he actually started to find his game.
Yeah, for sure.
If he had that earlier on, maybe it was the fans and everything. Dimitri did look a bit stressed early on in that match, didn't he?
And
then he
again, it's
started to
partly
find it.
Felix's style that stresses you because he comes at you,
Yeah.
it's quick, and you're like, Felix does a lot of those long, fast serves as well,
Yeah.
which you feel like, you can't really get away with that unless it's really good. But he slings it in all the time.
Follows up.
It also, like the amount of serves that you miss of his because the TV is showing you an instant replay of the last point, and then it comes back and he's already served.
Yeah,
He's
he's
into the
already in.
next one. Yeah. So like you must feel like you're getting bombarded. The ball's gone over there. He's already grabbed it. He served the next one at you.
Yeah.
You've kicked that back and he's just taken it off the bounce, smashed it past you, chode. The whole crowd's going nuts. You're like, what? I'm 4-0 down.
Yeah.
How's that happened?
Definitely a momentum player, Felix, for
Absolutely.
sure. Actually, we were talking about that the other day. We were saying or it might have been me and you, Joe. One of us was saying there's a lot of sets nowadays where even between top players, suddenly it's 6-0, 7-0, and you don't normally see I feel like we didn't normally see that in the past. It would always be pretty even throughout, but now it seems like one player can go on a huge run of momentum and just be 7-0 up, but then still lose this next set or actually lose the game. But there seems to be a lot more of that now.
I think maybe one of the reasons for that is because every player is so playing with such high risk, but with consistency of it, they just go for it. Back in the day, it was touch, first spin, hold one block, top spin. Now it's flick, line, open up counter, you know what I mean? There's no area to just block soft anymore. It doesn't do anything.
Felix didn't play a block the whole Olympics.
No,
the whole Olympic
not.
Games. His coach was like, right, you're not going to play one block.
Yeah.
And he does not take a step back. It's like he's playing here where the wall's right next to me. He does not take a step back. He's just going to counter off. His reaction speed must be frightening.
Yeah, and he just reads it, I guess, so well, so he knows the position of where it's going to come back and shot.
With that pen hold as well, with the backhand, he's naturally going to put an element of side spin on it as well. So that ball kicking at you, I imagine it imagine landing at your hip. It's going to kick left right into you. It must be so hard when he's just banging them at you.
I remember Dimitri saying in an interview once, what the coaches now do in Germany and what they're trying to do with the younger generation is to always topspin in any situation, you know what I mean? So that's probably happened a lot now with all this new generation coming through. So let's say the ball comes to your backhand, you won't just block it back. You try and kick it. And it's same with the forehand. It's always a constant kick shot.
That's something that we mentioned Timo earlier. I think that's one of the reasons why he adapted so quick, because when you see it when he's blocking in slow mode, it's always kicking.
He does do that.
And it's getting your subconscious mind. Because when you're under pressure in a match, if the ball comes over to you, you're going to naturally, but with your previous style, you're just going to block, hold, and try and position it. Whereas if you sort of train all the time, subconsciously, you're there, it's 10-0 in the fifth, and you're going to do a little kick. And you train that subconsciously through your practice. To go to that next level and to be where these guys are, they're going for the backhand counter down the line.
Like you said, the risk factor is so high that even if you block against these guys, they're just going to king that next one. So you can't necessarily just hold the ball.
It has to have
on the
something.
table. Yeah.
Truls did a couple against Fan Zhendong, didn't he, out wide to his forehand? You know that block thing he did?
Yeah, it just comes across.
Yeah, and the ball just goes, because he's using the Fan Zhendong's speed. That's a great shot.
You're adding variables to it. So you're making someone now have to, something that they don't see every day, a chop block. Not only that, the repercussions of you getting it wrong is that Truls is stood there, like I said, with his bat wide open. He's going to crack this thing.
Yeah, it's like baseball.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, not only it's like, I haven't seen this before, but also you're aware that if you just pop it back, it's getting caned at you.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Talking of caning it, this is the game we saw in the quarterfinal, Hugo Calderano against Zhang Weijing.
Yeah, insane.
I thought, we probably all thought it was going to be a pretty close game,
closer,
but Hugo was literally just, seeing it live, like we said earlier about the sound, his backhand was just crazy. Zhang Weijing only had to push a millimetre off the table, and Hugo was sending him in the rocket.
Well, that was the weird thing. So, you're watching it, okay, let's see what Zhang Weijing's receive is here. Okay, it's a nice touch short. Nope. Hugo's flicked it off.
It really felt like he couldn't do anything in that game.
It looked elite against elite competition. That's when you're aware of this is something different. This is like a unicorn that's just cracking balls that no one else can do in the world.
It was insane.
One thing I like doing when there's big events, and obviously there's loads of hot topics on all different players, I like to follow the Instagram followers, and it's interesting. Hugo,
Dan's not letting this one go. He's been studying these followers.
Yeah. Hugo will be the first tables player on 1 million followers. Give it a couple more days.
First one?
No, there's no one else on that, is there? Not in Instagram. Okay, Wang Chichin in Weibo has 19 million, but in Instagram, Hugo will be the first player on 1 million followers. It's coming this week, boys.
So what's the stats? What's the stats on how much it's grown?
So Hugo started the tournament on 280,000.
Okay.
He's now on 860,000.
What?
Yeah,
That's
and
insane.
he's going up by 150 per day.
Over
Because in
half
Brazil,
a million.
he's all over the TV. He's massive in Brazil and that area of the world. They push table tennis a lot and they become household names. Felix, I thought Felix was going to jump more, to be honest.
Yeah.
You were saying when you were over there that everyone, he's now a household name in France, right? Taxi drivers.
The taxi drivers both knew Felix, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, it was shocking. We couldn't believe it. The taxi driver knew Fan Zhendong. He knew what Felix draw was. What's interesting is because Felix has a older brother, because they're brothers, I think it's quite interesting to the public eye. So they're like, oh, there's these two brothers that play table tennis. They're amazing.
It's also a distinct look that they both have. The blonde hair, the glasses, yeah.
They're on TV shows. They're always on the news. Like, oh, Felix is playing later today against such and such at this time. Like, it's a thing.
It's definitely
Like,
a unique
wow.
dynamic, yeah.
We saw as well the clip from their nationals where they both played in the fun when they have that ridiculous point where like Felix, they both start laughing because there's a huge point. But like, it's a sellout crowd. It's exactly the same as what the atmosphere was there. It's going absolutely mad. WTT in October are going to Montpellier for a Champions tournament. Whoever booked that at WTT, world-class booking. That's like booking a Conor McGregor fight in Ireland. That is going to be unbelievable.
It will be. That'll be juicy.
But no, Hugo has literally gone from like 200-ish to now almost 1 million. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Crazy.
I feel like Hugo's quite a cool guy as well, like quite quiet. Socials would be quite cool. I mean, he's got like videos of him like solving a Rubik's Cube with one hand.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
He's also like really good at football as well. When you see him
And basketball.
Musician. Yeah, he does music stuff as well. He played the guitar.
That kid could have been world class at anything.
And he's just multi-talented, yeah.
That's what Lewis Hamilton said once in an interview. He said, look, us top sports stars, we're at the top because we are crazy and obsessive and we will get to the top whatever we do. Doesn't matter what we chose. And I was like, okay, it makes sense. Because like, there's this whole idea, isn't there? Oh, they're born talented. He's so great. But if you, George at this club, for example, he used to train in Metz where Felix used to train. And he was like, from the age of 4, they were training like absolute dogs on the table for doing multiple from the age of 4 or 5 years old. So there's a reason why Felix is where he is.
Yeah.
He's probably got the reps up to the point of doing the same
built
amount
those
of
pathways like super early in his brain.
And the right technique, good environment.
Yeah.
Francisco as well, he was playing from the age of 5. And Timo Boll was in the hall when he's 5.
There's that famous video, Timo, isn't it? In his garage, I think he is. Where you can barely see over the table.
You know, when you're growing up, you got the chairman in the hall. That's what you got to look up to.
Yeah.
Is that how I play a forehand? You know? Whereas, you know, Francis has got to watch Timo. It's different, isn't it?
I got to 26 before I saw my first short serve. I was like, what? He's not allowed to double bounce, mate.
You can actually short serve.
Amazing. Oh, that's
Do you know what? It's funny you said that because I remember when I was like 13 or 14, this one coach, I can't remember who it was like, oh, you know, when someone serves, you can touch it short. And I was like, wow.
That's allowed?
And I remember, and it was a game changer, and I started learning the short touch. And it really helped me win some more matches. I just used to push long, didn't know any different.
I've been obsessed this summer with the Chiquita flick, and it's something I don't do. I pivot a lot. So I'm like, I'm just going to get really good at it. So we've got the robot, and I've been in here, and all the boys have been giving me stick. I'm like, oh, I'd rather train with the robot.
Yeah, but it's great, because you actually could knock with a human being, but you're choosing the robot.
So I picked the robot, and this Chiquita's just flying. I've got like videos where I'm like coming in and strawberrying and handle shotting like the Dane. There was matches on the Wednesday. I was like, I am going to tear it up. I'm just going to Chiquita everything. Not one short serve. I played 6 people, not one short serve. I was raging.
They must have seen the videos.
Oh, it's funny.
They must have seen the videos. He's been practicing. Let's just put in the long serves.
I was raging.
No, it's giving you short serve.
It's brilliant.
Okay, quarterfinals then, round of 8. So massive ties. Felix came up against Ling Yunju in a 4-3 epic. Again, like proper tussle. This is the game where there was one end of the table where all the sets were won.
It literally went set for set, yeah.
Obviously, crowd going bananas.
Yeah.
At that point, you're starting to believe, like, he could go all the way here.
Felix, I think, done well there because Lin Wenru is a tricky customer. He's got a lot of experience, and his style of play is extremely consistent and I don't know. He's
very relaxed.
Yeah, very relaxed. It's quite hard to play against that, probably in that environment where everyone's going crazy, and you're playing against someone who's so cool and
doesn't show much emotion.
Yeah, it doesn't show much.
Poker face.
Very much.
And Felix, I think he's done well to get through that.
Then the big one, the next one, the one that could have been Tomokazu Harimoto.
Oh, geez, this one.
Fan Zhendong, 4-3. First point, interestingly, Harimoto's chose didn't really seem to be that out of place because the crowd were going so mad that it felt like it was just natural, right?
Yeah, in like a WTT event, you'll get like, you know, this boy's so noisy.
Yeah, you can hear it echoing through all the changing rooms because nobody's there.
Charlie!
But this,
Charlie Joe!
obviously, Harimoto went 2-0 up.
Yeah.
Fan Zhendong, in fairness to him again, could have wobbled at that point.
Done well.
Dragged it all the way back. Yeah, I mean, this was tit for tat.
Again, fair play to Fan Zhendong because, it's someone else pressuring him, that environment. Harimoto's been there and beaten the top guys before, so it wasn't easy for him.
In WTT, there's a lot more upsets where, like, I know Fan Zhendong's lost to a few players, and it's best of 5. But in this best of 7, for Harimoto to maintain that level is so... You can see it. Like, if it was a best of 5 match, Harimoto won that game. And so, yeah. But then when it gets to the 7th and Fan Zhendong's there, and he's just maintaining that ridiculous quality, it's literally due to Fan Zhendong's level is here and Harimoto's level is here. So naturally, you're always going to be able to bring that.
Yeah.
Harimoto's just got to play like a hero every single point.
Well, yeah, I think we said it in episode 1 though, right? Like the best of 5 versus best of 7 is a different dynamic, totally.
For sure, because all you need to do is win the first set or so, and then there's pressure already.
Well, Fan Zhendong as well, or the better players tend to generally work out your strategy as well. So you need to approach that match with a plan A, plan B, plan C, and keep moving between them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was something Fan Zhendong noticeably started to play up the lines. Harimoto was just keeping him on the parallels and blocking really well. But the moment Fan Zhendong started to play to lines,
it was kind of whoever was switching first and stuff, if I remember, was winning the point. And again, at the end, Harimoto was a lot of respect. You know, he's like, well done. You know, it was really nice. You could see there was a lot of respect amongst the two.
Semi-finals, Truls Möregårdh versus Hugo Calderano. Hugo, I think, he had a large lead when he got to 10 in the first set, and then Truls started to come back.
It was 9-4 or 10-4.
Do you know what? I feel like if Hugo had won that first set, it could have even gone like 4-1 to Hugo or 4-0.
The second set was 16-14 as well.
Yeah, and then exactly, and then I don't know. Just after that, Hugo's body language started to change. Truls, you can see, was getting more confident.
Yeah.
Truls like, I can win this. You know, you can see he's like
shoulders out.
Yeah.
When you get that sort of a set from coming from 9-4, 10-4 down,
it's a robbery.
It's a robbery. It's a robbery. It does give you that boost, though, doesn't it? You think, oh yeah, that was I didn't deserve that really, but I got it now.
Yeah, I got out of jail free
Exactly.
card. Played that
on the Monopoly board.
Yeah.
How many times people would give up at 9-4 in that situation, and Truls came back? You know.
Yeah. Well, he went into that mode of like, screw it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to chop block. I'm going to do the
he
crazy
did.
stuff.
Yeah,
he got creative and just went for it.
And once he does that, he's so difficult.
But take Zhang Wujin, right? Played Hugo in the previous round, and Hugo was just flying 4-0. Was it 4-0?
Yeah,
4-0.
4-0, yeah.
Zhang Wujin, again, traditional, fantastic player, really good fundamentals, keeps it nice. There's not much crazy variation.
yeah.
So Truls comes in. If he plays like Zhang, he's probably going to lose 4-0 as well, because Hugo was flying. I think even Truls said it in a post-match interview, like, wow, I was happy with that win there. I'm not being Hugo for a while, or something like that, I think he said.
The way Hugo was playing as well.
The way Hugo was playing, because Hugo was literally... I was actually kind of thinking Hugo could win this tournament, to be honest. I was thinking... Do you know what I mean? I was thinking, geez, Hugo beat Fan Zhendong 3 months ago in a WTT event. Like, I was thinking, okay, maybe
Especially
Hugo's.
after that Zhang Wujin win.
Yeah. And he's almost got 1 million followers on Instagram, so that does help. Hoops your confidence, doesn't it? Hugo wakes up at night, he wakes up in the morning, there's another 100k, this is great, right? Let's play table tennis.
So just quickly, my analysis of it, like, because we were discussing it off camera, I feel like the difference when it got to the end of it was Hugo's backhand is obviously unreal. He's going for these massive topspin shots, right? And a lot of players are doing this kind of kicky topspin backhand now. But Truls doesn't really do that. He can kick the ball, but usually he's going through with this punch shot or, you know, these different creative shots. But a lot of the time, this quick, punchy, snappy shot. Hugo's having to do this big wind-up, and Truls goes bang. So he hasn't almost got time to then get into these long rallies. Hugo's winding up the big one, bang, it's back at him. And that was probably where Truls managed to eventually get on top and just dictate in the end, I think.
Yeah. Well, like you say, Truls, that punch, that then means once Truls does that punch, Hugo has to relift it. He has to apply spin back to it, as opposed to a kick when you can borrow it.
Exactly. Yeah. He's just, he's taking everything away from it. And the speed of it as well, it's early, bang, off the bounce, quick, you know. Impressive.
Hugo has been so switched on all event, and you can see it hit him hard, that loss.
Both that and the bronze medal.
Yeah, and the bronze medal as well, because I think he did put a lot into it. Not saying the other players didn't, but I know that whenever I've been at any tournaments, he's just there, just grafting. Yeah. He's just so switched on.
He'll be back.
He will be back, yeah. And what a phenomenal athlete he is. You know, he's a literal athlete beast.
Also, like, context heading in, he was kind of, he was number 4 seed. He was the dark horse. We were saying he's beaten all these guys. Like, he has a real great chance, as opposed to Truls, when he kind of went under the radar. And we all writ him off against Wang Chuqin, right?
I don't even think we spoke about him much in the podcast at the start. We had these predictions for Harimoto and stuff like that.
But like you say, that was because of the draw. He had Wang Chuqin, and not just the fact it's Wang Chuqin, it's the fact that he's lost to him something like 8 times before and never won. So you're starting to think, okay, well, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's just a brutal draw.
Yeah. Other semi-final then, Felix versus Fan, and Fan really just showed his level. like we kind of said, like, oh, he studied. He knew exactly where to serve, short to forehand, because Felix doesn't tend to step around in Chiquita like Zuzin says. And then just mix the pace so well that Felix just wasn't able to crack everything.
Yeah. It was relentless, wasn't it?
It was a masterclass.
My theory on this is if Fan Zhendong had beat Harimoto 4-0, I think this game would have been a lot closer. I think because he overcome a best-7 match against Harimoto, it's got him like unleashed
the knife.
Yeah, sharpen the knife. Yeah. Unleashed all the the negative energy in his body, any sort of doubt, and like I've got for a big match now. I'm ready. I'm feeling good. And also Harimoto is such a quality player. It's a good warm-up in that environment. Like good back and counter. Yeah. It's fast. It's explosive. So when he comes against Felix, I think he was just still maintain that momentum.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that he knew it was home crowd, he knew Felix is in top form, he knew he's the biggest new threat. I've got to be on this from point one. If I'm not, I'm in big trouble here. And he was, you could see he was so in that zone of there's no messing about here.
Yeah.
The celebration was world class.
He did the Ronaldo. He did the Ronaldo, didn't he?
So good.
He's basically telling his 10 million followers on Weibo, look guys, it's all right. I know you're commenting going, is Felix going to win this one? Look, it's all good. I've got this under control.
Yeah.
I'm carrying China. I know Wang Chuqin's out, but I'm winning this damn thing.
Which then leads us into the medal matches. So bronze medal match, Felix versus Hugo. We mentioned it. Felix came through 4-0.
It is the fairy tale, though, that Felix, being the home player, got the bronze medal. So maybe it was meant to be.
Yeah, it was awesome. All the celebrations were class. Alexi got down there and was
There's a few
celebrating
tears.
with him. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's massive.
Going to the gold medal match then. So Truls Möregårdh taking the first set as well against Fan Zhendong. Chest out, massive shows. We're all going wild in here. We had a bit of a viewing party, didn't we?
It's great fun.
And then Fan Zhendong just edging it. 11-9, 11-9, 11-8, 11-8. There was a moment in the second set, I think, where Wang Hao called Truls was up, maybe 5-4 or 6-4. And Wang Hao called the perfect timeout. Just nailed it in the bud, because if Fan Zhendong went 2-0 down, that would have been tough. And even not like when he played when Fan Zhendong played Felix, he never really got away from Truls, but it was just like those 2-3 points every set here and there where Truls was a bit tied up by Fan Zhendong's placement, or Fan Zhendong just played that down the line one. That was it. Truls was on the early pivot. We shouted it straight away, weren't we? We were like, no pivot, just hold your backhand.
The problem is it's like a triple threat against Fan Zhendong, because if you stay backhand, he's so solid and he'll switch you down the line into the corner. If you pivot, he's going to either do the same thing or he'll get round first. Like it's just so many threats to get away from.
It's so dangerous for you to early switch as well, because that quality is coming at you so much. And even then, if you switch it, it's probably not going to win you the point. It's forehand, then you're going forehand to forehand with him. Yeah.
It is like the impossible task. Where do you go? You have to play such a perfect match to beat someone like Fan Zhendong. And I think, we'll all agree, like Truls, it's an incredible performance still from Truls to get that silver medal.
Yeah. And it was a great game. I felt like, it could have been very one-sided to Fan Zhendong. Truls put up a great fight. And if he'd gone 2-0 up, it could have been a different story.
100%.
Fan Zhendong could have been nervous. He might have missed a couple key points. Truls does that,
And Truls would have started to think, I can actually win this.
Yeah,
I'm sure he had the belief he could win anyway, but it would have given him that extra boost of like, I'm 2-0 up, I can do this.
Yeah. I got to say, if Truls had won, could you imagine the sort of celebration we would have seen from Truls?
Oh, it would have been insane. He would still be going now.
I know. I just love. To me, I just want to know what that looks like.
You know what the coldest thing Truls could have done is the karma celebration.
Oh my God! Imagine
just staring Lu Guiliang in the eyes.
Imagine if he did that at 1-0 when he won the first set, though. He could have gone straight to Wang Hao, because Wang Hao was really giving it some. Like, I was very impressed by Wang Hao. He was a beast.
He was so invested in it.
That was going to bring me on to Wang Hao, because this is definitely going to become a reel, because in the Avengers film, in Endgame, there's a bit where Red Skull, he's a villain, and he has this line that's like, I guide others to a treasure I could never possess. And that literally is Wang Hao.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Photoshop his face into that, and that's going out in a reel.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But you're right, Wang Hao was going nuts.
Isn't it?
I've never seen him like that.
Well, yeah. And actually, he's been working with Fan Zhendong for many years. In China, all the coaches, like 7 main coaches, and they'll look after one player. So like Marlong's or his coach, etc., etc. Fan Zhendong has Wang Hao. Not
a bad person to have in your corner, is it? I've usually just got Dan like talking to me, and then he's
probably giving you some wild stuff.
He's got Wang Hao.
Yeah. Don Parker said it in the commentary. He was saying it's quite interesting because, like there's this whole notion in the Western world, like you don't need to be a great player to be a great coach, etc., right? And I generally believe you don't need to be, right? There's a lot more to coaching than being a great player. However, in China, right, you're not allowed to be on the coaching team unless you've won a medal in the Olympics.
I think it makes sense.
That's what I've heard. Now, I'm almost 99% sure on that.
There's that argument. Yeah, for sure. They're all like ex-top players, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, there is
that's the criteria. If you want to qualify and go, hey, I want to be a coach on the national team,
Yeah.
you need to have a medal in your CV.
It makes sense to an extent because you've been there and done it. And China know they're going to be in that situation over and over again. They need someone in that corner who's been there, done it, gone through that. But yeah, for 100%, just because you've been a top player doesn't mean you're going to be a top coach, but because you might not be a great communicator, you might not have the organization skills, but it definitely helps in terms of the experience and tactical know-how. I mean, for sure it has its advantages.
Tactics are massive, aren't they, now in the TT? So,
sure.
If you're coaching Fan Zhendong, coming up against a wild Truls, Möregårdh, all these different stuff, Wang Hao needs to be, okay, what are we going to do here? Right. Whatever
the answers.
Wang said. I know we're saying on this podcast we're going to get a lot of guests on, some players and stuff, and that'd be amazing. But we should for sure get coaches on here as well.
Absolutely.
Pick their brains. Like, imagine getting Felix's coach on here. Yeah. Get Truls' coach on. But I can imagine Truls does multiple lot where he's doing a chop block then into a punch.
Yeah.
Chop block.
It's a combo.
Chop block punch.
It's the Tesco meal deal combo. It's chop block into the pivot into the flat slap.
It's like set pieces though in football or in NFL,
boxing combos,
or even hockey, like a penalty corner. You'd have a way you set up and where you're trying to set up that shot and create that opportunity. So it's kind of set pieces. Often in table tennis, a lot of it's off serve, returning that next ball, but you can still have those little set routines that you create within a point as well.
One talking point, guys, we have to mention is now one of us sat around this table has had dinner with an Olympic champion.
Yeah, I have actually, funnily enough. Yeah,
this story is wild. You need to tell us it.
It is quite wild. I feel like I've told it a lot of times, but obviously that's to you guys and probably the general public haven't heard it. So this was a long time ago. I'd say maybe 10 years ago now, maybe 8. And we had a friend who came over to the UK and he was training in Bristol. He was from China. He was from Beijing. And he said, why don't you come over to summer, do some practice, stay here for a month? I was like, yeah, great. It'd be amazing. Anyway, he knew a lot of like the provincial players and a lot of the teams from around there because he'd grown up coming through the system. So he said, right, let's go out for a few drinks and have some dinner. And so we jump in a taxi and he said, yeah, my friend's going to come and join us, a couple of friends. One of them's like a very good player. I'm thinking, okay, cool. I mean, there's a lot of good players in China. Anyway, so we're in the taxi and my friend says, I forgot my keys. Let me just jump out and get them. And his friend comes along, gets in the taxi. And I turn around and it's Fan Zhendong.
That's so nuts.
And I'm there like, I was lost for words. I was like, what's happening here?
So when you went out, right, with Fan Zhendong and his crew, was he dancing all night long? Was he?
No.
What was it,
No, so we were kind of, I wouldn't say it was a nightclub. It was more like a bar. So we're kind of, I'm not sure if it's the norm in China, but you kind of like book a table and it's more like, it's a bit more civilized rather than jumping around like lunatics in a nightclub. So we were sat there at a bar with a few drinks and the music was going on. So it wasn't really dancing, but there was a lot of like back and forth and good chat with the friends. And at that time, he didn't speak great English, but he was still like very friendly and trying to kind of involve me in it, even though his English wasn't there really. But unbelievable. And I remember actually afterwards, we'd all had a few drinks. And we went to a restaurant after this bar to eat. And the one thing that really sticks out is I remember in China, generally you put a lot of food on the table and everyone kind of gets involved. It's rather than your one dish that you would have in Europe. And he leant over to me and he was going, Tom, eat.
Oh, this is great.
It was like he was inviting me to get involved. Like,
this is amazing.
Yeah, he was super friendly. So that was a really cool experience.
Did anyone recognize him?
No.
Because they kept him,
so there was quite a fairly big group of us. We were all together. Again, like I said, we were kind of on a table on our own. But we, even walking through this bar in the restaurant, no one was like really noticing. But I think at the time he was more like up and coming. He was still number 5 in the world, but he wasn't like the mega superstar that he is obviously now.
Did he pay for dinner?
I don't know. You know what? I don't actually know who paid. I'm pretty sure like my friend covered the bill for that one. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the men's wrapped up. Let's look into then the women's. We'll start with some of the notable performances in round of 64. We're going to start Ni Zhaoliang. How old is she, Tom?
I think she's 61 or 62.
That's mad. That's like your grandma. Imagine your grand's just like, see you later, Tom, I'm off to the Olympics. And then she goes and wins.
Is she really 62?
I think she's 61 or 2.
Wow.
Yeah. 61, 62. I'm pretty sure she's the oldest player to ever win a match in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I'm pretty sure that was a stat I saw. Yeah, which is impressive.
Jeez. Yeah, it's impressive.
And she took out Sibel Altinkaya from Turkey, 4-2.
Yeah.
Impressive.
One of the early games as well was Britt Ireland versus Möregårdh, and Britt tore her up 4-0. That was an impressive one.
That was one where you could see an upset potentially coming, because Möregårdh's winning a lot of games. She's improving. She's obviously young, fearless, but obviously got through it well.
She's one of those youngsters that, like you say, you see her 1 month, and then the next month she's learned a whole different skill set and is applying it at a different level.
100%. Yeah.
You also mentioned earlier one of the players that had a tough first round match, then went straight into the round of 32 and another 4-3 was Natalia Baja, right?
That was crazy. So her first round she played against Satasini Swatabat. I hope I said that right, or close enough. And she was definitely like second favourite in that. She managed to come through 4-3, crazy game, like mad emotions at the end. And then she played Yufu of Portugal, another like crazy battle. Again, another 4-3, another crazy emotions at the end. So she actually had an unbelievable Olympics.
Okay, so another story was the player from North Korea, Pyong, beating Nina Mittelhelm. Nina having a bit of an injury in the final set, which kind of put a bit of a dampener on it. But that was quite a cool result to see a North Korean go deep in the draw.
It was, yeah, and it was a pretty tight game throughout. But I think that, obviously, like you said, the sad thing was seeing Nina Mittelhelm getting injured, and I know she's had some bad injuries in the past as well in other major tournaments. So she obviously gutted going off there. So yeah, we have to just wish her the best. Hope she recovers quickly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Next,
it's impressive how well these North Koreans are playing and producing players, though, right?
where do they train? Because they can't just train in their own.
Oh, there was a lot. You were telling me that there was a lot of things online saying
That's
that
what
they
online
practice in
saying.
China.
They're training in China. And obviously, there's lots of different stories online, and not sure exactly what's right or what's not.
It's all very unknown, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But their level is so high.
I guess if you're China, it's probably quite clever to bring them in as practice partners, because then you get a good look at them. Then you can start to study them, as opposed to like turn up here and you've got to play them. You've never seen them before, but they're obviously elite level.
Like in the mixed doubles.
Yeah,
They beat Haramoto and Hayata in the first round.
And they
it's
had
like,
no idea what they're up against.
It's mad.
Crazy.
You can't think about the tactics or anything. You're doing it there on the court.
Yeah. Next match I want to bring up then, Lily Zhang, who seems to be the new darling of like USA sport, having massive exposure with the NBA guys.
Insane exposure. In my reels, I scroll down and there's another one where she's been tagged by like ESPN or House of Highlights, which are like the biggest Instagram pages with like 60 million followers. And Lily Zhang's on there, and can you beat a pro 11-0 and all this stuff? It's wicked for the sport.
So good. So they met them on the raft in
Opening
the ceremony,
ceremony,
didn't they? Yeah. And there was that challenge that like, could you beat us 11-0? Yeah, we could. And then I think Anthony Edwards went to Lily's
against
match.
Bruna.
Yeah, and watched the game.
Standing up and cheering.
That's the great thing. He wasn't just sat there like, oh, this is cool. Lily's playing. She's from USA. He was jumping out. He's like, and you could literally see him. He was like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, he was going crazy. Lily's Zhang just like kicked it past Bruna down the line, and he's in the crowd going wild.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it
It's
was
wicked.
class.
It's great.
I think Steph Curry, it might have been, got asked as well, like, what's been your favourite part of the Olympics so far? And he's like, watching the table tennis, it was class.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and then the basketball team invited the girls over to watch their training sessions.
I saw that.
Just awesome.
It's wicked. And also, like, that's happened. You can see that in video. But then also on Instagram, like, Steph Curry is even responding on all the different Instagram posts, like, hey, Lily, good luck. You're like, wow, like, that's insane. That's like the highest profile athlete on the planet.
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah, it validates the sport as well, right? Because it's now this cool person. You know, you've got LeBron, you've got Steph Curry there, all these people that are like validating that these girls are Olympians and it's a real sport.
Absolutely.
Another match as well. Adriana Diaz went 3-0 up on Pyong from North Korea. And then Pyong came back and won 4-3.
Yeah. Insane.
Oh, I was a bit disappointed with that, because I think Adriana's great for the sport as well. She's like a very fun character. Like, she's got a big following. Again, Puerto Rico, like, it's just different, unique style. Again, almost like a bit like, I like calling her the female Truls.
Yeah,
she's got like that backhand punch style, very like creative. Like, yeah, she's great to watch. I was gutted she didn't win that one, to be fair.
Like her and Bernadette Socks, they can both pull out like wild results sometimes because of their different, unique styles. And you want that sort of style to get far in these events.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was actually saying to Joe before as well, I was a bit, not disappointed, it's a bit unfair, because obviously Polkanova played amazing, but she beat Bernadette Search. And if Bernadette Search would have won, she would have been playing Cheng Meng, who she's beaten twice recently.
exactly.
So that would have been unbelievable. So I think Cheng Meng was for sure like, whew, when she saw the result of that one.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Bernie tends to be one of those players as well that gets better under the lights, loves a show, loves it when it's passionate. Yeah, she goes nuts. In the quarterfinal, Hina Hayata against Pyong from North Korea, an absolute epic again. 4-3, 15-13, one of the sets, 11-9s. Coming through, that was a massive one. So that was really, really good to see.
One thing I picked up from that game, which Hina Hayata throughout the whole tournament was on some like really good shots or crazy points she hit. She was doing this thing where she won a point and she was like, and like smiling, and she was like showing, but she was like smiling and like she was at a birthday party. She was so happy, and I feel like it was a conscious thing that she was doing throughout the tournament, because a lot of the time I saw her, the camera went to her coach as well. And he was doing the same thing. So he won, and rather than Wang Hao on the sideline, like, like going crazy, he was like, like smiling, like almost like trying to reinforce that, like,
positive.
be relaxed as well, and enjoy the moment. And I feel like that was a conscious thing from them. Like, it was just really nice to see. Like Hayata was almost like laughing. Like I remember a couple, it was like where she got a netball back and then carried on and won the point, and she was there like, and like it was great. It was really fun to watch.
Maybe the sports psychologist told him, like, look, you guys need to just smile.
It could be. That's what it looked like. But who knows?
Release some tension.
Where were we?
Semi-finals then really was the two Chinese players. Both put out 4-0 performances. Sung-Yin Shah against Hina Hayata and Chen Meng against Xun Yubin. Just showing their class.
Flying.
Total dominance, really. I mean, the scorelines aren't ridiculous. Like, they were fairly tight, some of the sets, but they were dominating, really, weren't they? The two of the ladies.
It quite does seem to be the case with China. If you don't win one of the first sets, you can lose the game 4-0.
I think even more so in the women's game. They tend to be that. It's a different style. It's close to the table, fast, snappy stuff, and a lot of, like, I wouldn't say repetitiveness, but there are certain patterns that seem to happen more often. Yeah. And if you're not able to compete or stick with it in those patterns, the women are just so drilled at that, the Chinese women. They're so good at it.
Because if you're not winning an earlier set, it shows you haven't acclimatized to that pattern or that tactic. So then you're never going to kind of do it.
And that's it. That's your lot. I mean? And they'll focus in on it.
Yeah, and they're going to get better at it.
Again and again.
Yeah.
Okay, that sets us up nicely for the medal matches then, both of which 4-2 in the final for the gold medal. Chen Meng, your prediction came in, Dan.
I know. I don't know how I got that, really. I just thought, well, she won it last time, and I think, Tom, you mentioned it earlier that she just looked more dominant and confident out there, and Sung-Yin Shah kind of struggled with the environment to find a game.
I mean, maybe she didn't, but that's the way it looked to me. It looked like Chen Meng was the dominant personality on the table, if you like, and Sung-Yin Shah looked a bit timid. And obviously, table tennis wise, there's not a lot in it, and often in those like big Olympic finals, world final, it comes down to mentality and attitude and your personality on the table. I feel like Chen Meng was really bossing that, the emotional battle, if you like.
It reminded me when Fan Zhendong played Ma Long in Tokyo, similar, where Ma Long's already previously won it. Everyone was like, wow, Fan Zhendong is playing so well right now, but somehow Ma Long just was dominating the play. And it's just that confidence. He's been there before, he's had a gold medal before, and it's that he knows he can get over the line, whereas Fan Zhendong's like, I want a gold medal. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you called it. You said in episode 1, you're like, she's got that experience, she's won it before, I think she'll do it again. I thought Sung-Yin Shah would win, but yeah, she showed her dominance.
Bronze medal match. So Hina Hayata coming out 4-2, but some really tight sets. The first one was 11-9 to Xun Yubin. Then Hina winning 13-11 and 12-10 in the next ones that kind of set the tone for it. She eventually came out, 4-2. So that was really good to see. Like you said, there was lots of smiles, lots of happy moments. Yeah.
I think that, I mean, from the other perspective, it's the hardest match to lose, right? The bronze match. You've lost a tough semi-final, and then you've lost the bronze medal match. So I think going away from this event, obviously, Hugo and Xun Yubin are going to be the ones probably hurting the most, feeling proud of their performance, but hurting the most, not coming away with a bit of silverware.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know our predictions at the start, guys, where we predicted the men's and the women's. The women, we weren't that far off. You know, Chen Meng, Sung-Yin Shah come second, your Hina had to come third, so very close. Whereas take the men, how unpredictable those were. You know what I mean?
Having said that, I did pick the winner.
You did pick the winner, Fan Zhendong. I mean, yeah, you can.
That was the easy. That was the easy.
You both
pick.
said Fan Zhendong. Come on, but like to predict like the whole semi-final lineup.
Yeah, that would have been tough, especially
it was basically is Fan Zhendong or Wang Chuqin going to win it? That was kind of the thing, right? Also, Ma Long wasn't in that. I know that Ma Long didn't get picked over Wang Chuqin, and understandably because of the ranking and stuff. But if Ma Long was to play this, if he did play this event and won gold, he would be down in history books with Usain Bolt, with Michael Phelps.
Of a three-peat.
3 Olympic back-to-back wins.
It's just a shame we didn't get the chance to see if he could have done it. It's
if.
Yeah, it's the if.
But we say if it's Ma Long, I think Ma Long could have done it.
Yeah. Well, we'll never know, won't we, sadly?
Yeah. If he did it, secured himself as the GOAT. Like, no conversations. He's already probably the GOAT.
He would have won Rio gold, Tokyo gold, and Paris gold.
In terms of like winning big events, that would make him the GOAT in the sense of that, I would say, yeah. Again, it's not happened now. So maybe Fan Zhendong can do it in the future.
Well, no, Fan Zhendong's now on the Grand Slam, right? He won World Cup. Is it World Cup? World Championship and this Olympics. So he'd have to do the same thing again to now match Ma Long.
Which you wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. And he's got Felix against him now. And he's got Wang Chuqin.
Interesting.
It's tough. It's a tough gig. Sorry, Joe. It's just a tough gig to win 3 Olympics. And I feel like if anyone was to ever have done it, it would have been Ma Long at this one. Yeah. Very tough to maintain that level of like dominance for so long, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, how old's Fan Zhendong now? He's got to be mid-20s, right? 25?
Yeah,
I think so.
7 or something, 28.
So he's going to be coming into like his physical prime. Yeah, in 4 years.
Okay, guys, singles is wrapped up. Joe, we can't forget.
Yeah, we got some stuff to give away. We ran a competition, right?
Oh, we nearly forgot.
The official Paris 2024 mascot and a Truls Möregårdh edition Cybershape, which I never really realised. This thing's beautiful. It's got like gold plate all over it. It's got the counterweights as well on the bottom, so that's cool.
What's funny is Joe definitely made like 20 fake Instagram accounts and put his result into
To get some sneaky entries.
He really wanted to win this.
There's no perks working at TTD, let me tell you that.
Unfortunately for Joe, he didn't win because we've already drawn the winner, and we can announce the winner is Magnus Hartvigsen. So there we go. We're going to put your up on the screen. And Dan, what have they got to do to claim their prize?
Yeah, just DM us on Instagram, send us your address, and then we'll get shipped out to you. And congratulations, a fantastic prize.
You'll soon be having a cuddle with this guy and playing with your Truls Möregårdh blade.
Fantastic. So what we got to look forward to now? We've got the team event of the Olympics, Joe.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was going to throw out a prediction, but I think we're all probably expecting China. So what I want is predictions for silver in the men's. Who's going to take silver in the men, you think?
Go on, Dan.
I guess it depends on the half of the draw, right? Because at the bottom half, China at top, China have France, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so because I do feel like France have a chance. If Felix is buzzing, Alexei might be able to take one, even Gauzy. But like you said, China are likely to win both. I guess in the bottom half draw, you've got Germany and Japan, right? So that's going to be a massive match between those two. And potentially Sweden is there as well.
Germany, Sweden, yeah.
I'm going to go with Germany. I feel like they're going to get to the final.
In the men's?
In the men's, yeah. Tom?
I'd have to agree with Germany just purely because they're not on the same half as China, so they've got that big chance. Obviously, still not easy games. They've got Sweden, Japan, but yeah, I would pick Germany for silver in the men's.
I'm going to go Japan. I'm going to throw that out there for men's because they're in that German half.
And Harimoto's buzzing right now after that Fan Zhendong. And good performance.
Tagami's good as well.
Yeah.
Tough player, yeah.
Okay, women's teams. If we said, again, China for gold, most probably.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Japan, silver, in the women's.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd love to see India get silver, but...
Oh, yeah. They're in China's half, though, right?
They're in China's half, I think.
No. They're down the bottom.
They are?
India are down the bottom, are they?
I believe they are.
Ooh. If that's the case, if they're not in China's half, I'm going to say India women for silver medal.
Yeah. Actually saying that, though, I feel like India could beat China.
Oh, no, they could. They could, yeah. They could.
India in the bottom half of the draw. Interestingly, they just beaten Romania 3-2. That's a big result.
That was a pretty titanic matchup in the first game, India-Romania in women's.
Yeah.
Huge. What about you, Joe? Who are you going for?
Yeah, it's India or Japan, I think. I'm going to go Team India.
Yes, come on. We want a big upset. I want something crazy to happen.
I really hope this team event is similar to the singles where we just did not know what was happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Upsets and, random players come through and just...
That's what we want. It's good for the sport. It's exciting. It makes it not dull and predictable. It's what we need.
Yeah. I'll let you know. I'm there for the semi-finals.
Oh, Joe's. We're going to get in Joe's live feed. It's going to be great.
Fantastic.
You know what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to try and get a selfie with Ma Long if he walks anywhere near me. I've got the VIP ticket, so I'm wondering who I'm going to be sat near.
Yeah.
Because I could be sat look behind you and there's Walner chin.
Absolutely.
Imagine that.
All right, sign us off, Dan. Episode 2 in the books.
That's it. Massive. We're loving this TTD podcast, guys. Let us know in the comments below who you'd like to see us on the show. We're going to try and get players on here, coaches, etc. And, of course, subscribe. This is the new channel, TableTennisDaily Cast on YouTube.
Awesome.
See you soon.
Cheers, guys.